What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and since the launch of Title Update 15, I've been getting a lot of questions at the channel in regards to farming exotics, and those questions vary from, how do you get specific ones in the game, to is one way of farming better than another. Therefore, today I wanted to take a few minutes and go over some of your options. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, and remember, we are currently having a giveaway for an Xbox Series X. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on July 4th of this year. Now, there happen to be a lot of different things I want to go over in this video, but as we begin, I want to make sure I mention that this is truly designed for new and returning players. Since Season 9 started, we've gotten a lot of people back into the game, and I really wanted to show you a few tips which should hopefully help you with your farming. With that being said, let's get into the different ways you can get exotics. Now, when you look at the map in the open world, you can see you have different icons when you open up your targeted loot. You have the small icons, which are missions. The large icons are just items in the open world. So if you're looking for something specific, that's how you're going to pick your farming location. Next, my friends, we have the new countdown mode, and we have the summit as well. And what's really efficient about using these areas is you can choose your targeted loot. Therefore, you can farm for what you want to anytime you want. However, with that being said, the first thing I'd like to cover in today's videos are guaranteed ways to get exotics in the game, which, as all of you know, are very, very rare. Now, the first thing I want to go over is your seasonal reward track, and as you can see here, there are 3 new exotics in Season 9, the first of which is the Dread Edict, which you can get from obtaining seasonal level 55. Next, you have the Blue Screen LMG, which you can get from getting to level 85. And last, but certainly not least, we have the Catharsis Mask, which is one of the best new exotics in the game by far, and you get that by getting to level 90 in your season. So once again, to be clear, all you need to do is advance in your seasonal progress and you'll get all of these exotics. Now, another way to get guaranteed exotics is by completing the weekly projects. Now, unfortunately, you will not get to choose which exotic you get, but you have 3 options every week. You have the weekly summit project, you have the weekly shade requisition, and you have the weekly legendary mission as well. Now, another new addition to the game is the fact that we now have a countdown requisition store. And what that means is that as you play countdown, you're going to earn different resources. As you earn those resources, you can use that to buy different caches. And as you can see here, you can buy an exotic cache in this game anytime you want. Now, it is a little bit pricey, which means you do need to play countdown. However, it is a guaranteed way to at least have the opportunity to get exotics anytime you want. Now, as I get into showing you the actual farming methods themselves, I want to take a moment and answer some of the most commonly asked questions you send the channel, and the first of which is, are the raid exclusive weapons now in the general loot pool? And the answer is no. So if you want to get the Eagle Bearer, the Ravenous, or the Regulus, you need to complete the raid in order to get those items. Some of you are wondering, are they going to introduce it into the general loot pool? And at this point, I do not see it happening anytime soon. Now, getting into regular farming, we're going to start with countdown, and as you can see, you can choose your targeted loot. I chose mask, I picked up the vial, and with countdown, it is incredibly efficient because you get so much loot in a short amount of time. Another one of my favorite spots to hit up for exotics is in the summit, because once again, you can choose your targeted loot, which really does help out. Now, I've put together a video in the past on my favorite place to farm in the summit. It's a floor 10 boss farm, and I will leave a link to that video in the description down below. Now, another commonly asked question I get at the channel is, do you have to have your difficulty set to heroic? Do you have to have like 5 directives going to get an exotic? And the answer is no. You can see here I'm setting my difficulty for challenging. I have no directives whatsoever, and I do wind up getting an exotic to drop. Now, there happen to be a few details in regards to that I want to go over really quick. First of all, the higher the difficulty does equal the better chance of an exotic dropping. So if you can run on heroic, I recommend doing that. And in regards to directive, the only thing that has an effect on is the type of loot that drops. So if you have SMGs picked as your targeted loot and you have, let's say, 5 or 6 directives, there's a better chance that SMGs will drop when you take out a target. Now, one thing I want to mention, because the CHATTERBOX is the SMG I just picked up, is this is one of a few items in the game that have to be crafted before they get into the general loot pool. A few others are RIDGEWAY'S Pride, you also have the Nemesis, and I will leave a link to how to get those in the description down below as well. Now, another way to get one of these weapons or items that can only be crafted is to be in a group with someone who already has it in their general loot pool, and let's say they're farming and they get one to drop and they don't need it, they can then give it to you. And once they do, it is then in your general loot pool as well. You can farm for it again and again if you want to get a better roll. And one thing I want to mention as we move on, my friends, mark every exotic you want to keep as a favorite. You do not want to accidentally delete it. The other thing you want to make sure you do anytime you get a new exotic in the game is you want to go talk to Anaya in the base of operations. Once you speak with her, you'll see the option of buying the blueprint for the exotic you just picked up. That way you can re-roll it or farm for it anytime you want. Now, when it comes to farming exotics in the open world, you do have a lot of options to choose from. And as I pointed out earlier, the small icons on your map are going to represent the targeted loot that's behind a mission that day, and the large icons are going to represent the targeted loot that's in a specific area. So starting off with farming missions, for me, there are only a few that I really like to farm because I can get through them really quickly, one of which is Lincoln Memorial, the other which, as you can see here, is Wall Street. Now, the main reason I like these two the most is due to the fact that you're going to face 4 named bosses throughout the entire mission itself, and as most of you know, when you face a named boss, it does increase the chance of an exotic dropping. Now, when it comes to farming in the open world for exotics, that's where you have a lot of options to choose from in regards to just different things you can do. You can do a control point, you can do a bounty, you can do a named enemy, you can do, and the other thing too is keep in mind, they can drop from any NPC at any time in that area, so you always want to keep a lookout. One of the most popular open world methods in the game is farming heroic control points because you face 2 named enemies before you clear the thing. Now, let's say if you can't run a heroic control point on your own, I strongly recommend using the matchmaking system for things to do in the open world. You can go to a control point, call for backup. And while we're on that topic, I want to remind new and returning players that if you happen to use random matchmaking, you join a group, you complete a mission, do not just bail at the end, because there are so many times agents drop different pieces of gear or exotics or whatever it is that they already have, and if you're not there, you will not be able to see something you may be looking for. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about this game is the community itself, and there are so many people who want to share and help you farm for loot and things like that. So anytime you're in a group, let people know what you're looking for, and chances are if they get it, they're definitely going to pass it along. A few more questions that I want to cover really quick is, first of all, people are wondering, for the Bighorn, is it only on legendary difficulty still? The answer is yes, but you can farm it on legendary either on a mission or in the summit as well, and I do have a farming video for that, which I will leave in the description down below. The other question a lot of you are asking has to do with the previous seasons we've had and all of the exotics that have been in those reward tracks. Now, every single exotic we've had in every previous season is in the general loot pool, so farming using the targeted loot method or any way you want is the only way to get them. And as I start to wrap this video up, the main reason I wanted to put this together was due to the fact that I still hear from people on a daily basis saying they're just getting burnt out farming the same way over and over trying to get a certain exotic, so I wanted to show you a few options which should hopefully help you as you're trying to pick stuff up. One of my favorite aspects about having a channel is the family that we have here, and as always, if you have any tips or tricks you want to pass along to new and returning players, please leave them in the comments section down below. Look, I don't care where the information comes from, as long as we're helping each other out, that's the only goal we should have. With all that being said, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you once again, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know in the section down below and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit that like button as well. But most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
Vital signs critical. Hostiles detected. Supply convoy, heavily armed. Heavily armored hostile detected.